Okay, so as you already know, we're at the IFCA World Slalom Championships. No foils, fins only. So where better to start at looking at equipment? We're going to look at some fins today. We've got carbon, we've got G10 with a difference, and I've got my man Russel here from Flow Fins. Firstly, if people haven't heard of Flow Fins, what's your background? Where did they start? New to the market? Because I've never heard of Flow before.
It's completely new. This weekend actually is the first time that we've put it out there at all.
Okay.
So yeah, it's brand new for everyone. It's a completely new company where we've done all of the development of the foil sections, the profiles, the stiffness of the material, the works, all purely ourselves.
Okay.
We hand make everything here in Denmark.
Okay.
So it's a
You're
really...
not Danish?
No, I'm not Danish. No, I'm
Danish.
Definitely not. I'm Australian. I started off actually as a composite boat builder, making a lot of high performance racing yachts, things like that. After a little while, I switched over to the design side and studied naval architecture, so ship design, and I was very into all of the hydrodynamics and so forth, hence a real interest in fins. I used to windsurf a lot and love it like crazy. So naturally, after several years of work for me, I really wanted to do something where I was back involved in this sport. I can't compete because of an injury, but I want to do something close to it. And these make a really big difference to how much enjoyment everyone gets when they go for their sail.
Okay.
So,
I mean, it's an interesting fact of the fin, because I think there is a lot of people out there who probably don't give the fin enough credit, and it is actually probably one of the most important things in the board. I mean, it's the thing in the water.
You can literally divide your entire setup in half. You've got everything above water and what's below. And the below bit is like the bottom part of your board and the back 1 meter of it and your fin. Yeah. And this is equivalent to everything else.
Yeah.
And when you rig, you can adjust downhaul, you've got your outhaul probably on the fly if you're really into your racing and so forth. You can change your masts, you can do loads of things. Your fin is kind of a fixed object. So if it can't deal with the changes that you want it to at the time, if you need to point extra, you need to go deep, it starts getting really gusty, it gets really choppy, it completely flattens off. You know, your fin can't make adjustments for itself. It just has to deal with it. So we worked on making sure that a fin can have all of the right attributes and not have the downsides. And we think we've fully achieved that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I mean, I would say the probably most common asked question from the general free rider to the sort of novice racer is, what fin do I need? You know, where do you start? I mean, I've seen, you've obviously got a little flyer here, which is really interesting actually on the back. I put maybe a PDF or something of this, because it's actually a cool chart. Sort of got the different fins, it's got the sail sizes there, and then the sizes of fins compared to the width of your board here. So it's quite a cool chart. Now I've got this little system of mine, which the guys who watch the channel will know, which is like a half the width and add a little bit. Now it's not very scientific. How do you base this chart, or is this? I mean, it looks very similar, but obviously there's a little bit more. It's obviously a bit easier to look at. You can work out your sail size, whatever your fin, and you can work it out pretty easily. Yeah,
I took into account measuring a lot of boards. This is typically for kind of slalomy, free race slalomy type boards, and measured a lot of the back foot widths, at the front foot, what's the width and so forth, and compared these things a lot to come up with what typically works out as the right sort of size fin. And then adapted that a little bit to specifically these fins, because they're very slightly different in sizing than others, but not by much. So this gives you a really good starting point.
You need an app with that one, I reckon.
Probably a good idea.
That would actually be a good idea.
Yeah, this gives you a great starting point, and then we need to have a dialogue about what should be the right way for you. Should you be slightly on the bigger side, slightly on the smaller side, that sort of thing.
So let's say I'm coming to you. I'm going to just be me. I'm 82 kilos. Lost a little bit of weight, and I'm into free race.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm a pretty good standard. Where do I go if I want to get a fin from you? Where do we start? Like, how does that whole thing work?
Yeah. On our website, we've got a bit of a description about each of the different ones. There's a SLS fin, which is like a little more full-on racy.
So let's go through these ones here, because we've actually got
SLR is the first one here. It's got a little more breadth.
Slalom
race. got a bit more breadth in the profile. It has a bigger, broader range.
Okay. So wider at the base, is that what you're saying?
A little bit wider at the base. The profile it's also a bit wider at the tip, all the way through. More width. Okay. Still a very thin profile, and we've got our very special foil section, which gives a lot of drive very early in your speed range. So when you're just getting going, you straight away start to feel this nice lifting under your feet and getting the surface off the bottom of the board, so you feel very free. The next one is the SLS, and it's extremely similar in the main characteristics, but a bit narrower. So you might use a tiny bit more work getting going, and then it's having a bit freer feeling at the top end, so a little bit faster. Okay. Both still, of course, really quick.
So this has got a bit more drive at the bottom end?
A bit more drive and a bit more upwind capability, and this is a bit more slippery and a little bit more top end focused.
Okay.
So maybe a bit more reachy and downwind, and a bit more I need to go anywhere, or I'm not even sure where I'm going to need to go and I want to be able to go everywhere really well.
Okay, gotcha.
So the more all-rounder and a little bit more specialised.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we've got these collared fins.
Yeah, we've got a couple of G10 ones here. If you sail in a place where it's pretty risky to hit rocks or the bottom or whatever, you don't necessarily want to be whacking off bits of your real nice carbon fin. So we adapted the characteristics of those into something a little more affordable. So you've still got the unique profile. We have a bit more width in the base. It's a bit more similar to the SLR, and the tip is closer to the SLS. And this gives you an extremely all-round fin out of G10. Still has this lovely lifting feeling.
Yeah.
You do notice the feel difference between G10 and the carbon fins.
Yeah.
So it takes a few seconds longer to feel that bit of lift come straight underneath you, but they're still lovely.
I'm just going to go straight into it because I know everyone watching this video is going, how much are the fins? I'm just going to get that out with way. Give me a clue. So G10 is obviously cheaper.
G10 is obviously a bit cheaper. Ballpark for the kind of middle of the size range is about €250 for those. Okay. And for the carbon ones, roughly for a mid-range sort of size, like a 38ish or something, it's just a bit under 400. Bigger ones get a bit more, like 420, 430. Smaller ones down to about 370.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I was speaking to you earlier about this because when you look at this carbon, I was saying it looks like it's got like almost like a pattern in it.
It's a specific technique so that you get the strength of the carbon in all directions, not just in one. Like when you use layers in a fin, it's a kind of a flattish sort of a thing. It's a sheet that goes on. Up here, you want the strength also sideways through the fin, everywhere. Yeah. So this is called forged carbon, and you have to press this into the shape. Okay. So you've got the same strength across the head as you do in every other direction. So it's very robust, not going to bust apart. If you need to grind a bit away to fit your head, it has the same appearance because it's actually the same material all the way through. Okay.
Because I was saying actually earlier, I've had a few of these things pull almost into the top, and you were saying that doesn't happen.
This is not even having a chance. These are extremely reliable from that point of view. We also make sure we use, to be a really top quality product. It's not the minimum size of bush. It's a proper 12mm diameter. These are metric, but we can make whatever we need. So if people want an imperial 1/4 inch, no problem. And we like to put little finishing touches on there. Let's put a little flow in the bush and so on.
And also, when I was speaking to you earlier, because I am obviously a bit of a closet slalom racer. I don't do the world championships like this, but you never know, maybe. But we were saying, I'm interested because what you were saying to me about the way there's more lift at the bottom end, and as it gets, like you get more power, you get up to speed, that doesn't kind of affect the total lift at the top end. You kind of, that comes back because of the shape.
That's right.
What we're going to do is we're going to get some fins. Of course we're going to get some fins. What, you think I just walk up to him? I've already done a bit of chatting him up already. But we're going to have a couple of fins. I'm going to take them back to Portugal. I'm going to give them a test. I've told him, if they're not good, I'm going to tell him not good. If they're good, we're going to tell him exactly what they feel like. So stay tuned to the channel because it's quite interesting for me because I've got a few fins at home now which we're going to test them against, and I'm going to give you some just direct feedback on the fins.
That'll be great.
Yeah, but we've already spoke to a few of the guys who went sailing yesterday. Yeah. Feedback was really good, so it's made me kind of excited, and I'm like fins in slalom racing make people excited. Foil racing, you see all the foilers getting very excited about different foils. It is the same in slalom racing. Don't think you're going to shove any old fin in your board and get going. Yes, it will work to a certain degree, but when you're pushing, when you're trying to get the speed, when you're trying to get that bottom end and then not lose it at the top end, there's a whole lot of stuff going on.
There is a whole lot of stuff going on. It's really important.
So can you
to get right.
tailor make fins? Let's say, you know, is someone, if they have got one of your fins,
Yep.
do you know like the fin they've got? They're all different, or is there a standard layout?
Everything that gets ordered, then we keep those metrics in a database, so we know exactly what it was that we gave. Like, so exactly the ones that we'll do for you, we'll figure out what flex we should put in, how much twist we should control, if we should use a thicker or thinner profile. And we'll store that, so that later when you want something else, you can say, well, I really like this one, but I wish it was just this or just that, or I need something which is covering a bit of a different range. We know what the right thing is.
Because that's what I see. You know, you see it in surfing over the years where someone has a shaper, you know, like, you know, whatever, I've got my shaper. And then that shaper kind of gets to know you, and then you can start, once you've got that benchmark, I guess that must be the same for you.
Yep.
You've got that benchmark and you've got that feedback, you can then use that to kind of go a different way or try and fill the needs. It's kind of, it's kind of interesting.
Absolutely. I mean, we did really just an unbelievable number of prototypes with these.
Yeah.
Mostly in G10 to start with, to try and look at what was happening if we were varying the width of the plan profile, if we were changing the thickness and so on. And obviously in G10 that changes the stiffness and so on, so you had to kind of judge a bit for what's it going to change. Then we made molds of the best ones of those, and then we went through that whole cycle again then with carbon ones, and then we finally arrived to the ones that we said, right, these are going to be the staple shape and profile. And now what we do is every time someone wants to get something, so if you want to order, then you go onto our website, you either just use the contact and just contact us directly. If you already think, you know, I think it'll be the rangy one, or it'll be the more top speedy one, then you can just pick the size range that you think it's going to be. And then when you go in and look at your cart, there's a little comment box there, and that's where you put in, I think it's something like this or whatever. And then we have a dialogue after that to make sure we get the right thing. Yeah. So it is personalised. So
it is, like you say, it is a personalised thing, and I think you can buy stock fins off the shelf, but I think there is a lot of, like you say, personality you can put into a fin, or you know, different conditions, different boards. There's so many variables when it comes to that.
It's really so many. If you go around with a little ruler and you check exactly what's the difference between all the boards you've ever had, if you've got, like, you know, some people have got a garage full for years, measure how long it is from the back of the fin box to the tail of the board, and see how much that varies, and where is your foot strap compared to the fin head. Is that varying as well? And all those things will change. Where should we put the center point of lift from the fin? Should it go a bit forward? Should it go back? Should it be a bit more raked? Should it be back in the box and more vertical? Should it be back and raked? All of these things matter. If you do it the wrong way, you can have something that'll spin out very, you know, more prone to a spin out.
So you're obviously based in Denmark.
Yep.
Can people try the fins? Is that possible? I mean, I'm not putting him on the spot.
No, look, that's a perfect way to do it. That's a really perfect way to do it. For example, on Friday next week, we're going to have a test day at the local surf club in Vejle, and the whole, you know, we'll have about 20 different ones of these in all the sizes. Carbon ones is a little bit less because kind of are made to order, but but there'll also be the most common ones for that. So most of the time, big gear, it's a 44. That's pretty typical. Medium gear, 38, 37, and in the smaller ones, like around 32, maybe 33 or just under. And that's the main sizes that
you're talking, when you say small, medium and large, because I know the slalom race out there have got that off by heart, they know. But what's your big board range, like 83, 80?
Yeah, I use an 85. 85, I use an 85. Lots of guys might use something just a tiny bit less. The fin still seems to be more or less the same size. Might only vary by a centimetre.
Medium board, like low 70s? 72?
Yeah, 72.
And then small boards, 63.
63, yep, bang on it.
Okay. That's width, because when you're talking in slalom, you know, freeride, not many people talk in width, they talk in volume, but in slalom, it's all about the width. If you've got a really wide board, doesn't matter the volume, the leverage over the fin is the thing that makes the difference.
The leverage has to be right. You can actually get enough lift out of a shorter fin, but if you try and do that in a board that's got a lot of tail width, it'll just feel like it's not giving it to you. You'll have to sail without pushing your foot a lot downwards. You'll have to use more kind of side pressure, and that might feel a bit awkward. For some people, that's actually really nice. That gives you a lot of really good control over chop and so on, if that's the case. So you can tweak all of these things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cheers, dude. I look forward to testing these fins, and if you do get a chance, try and borrow some fins. It's not easy to borrow a carbon fin off someone when they've paid a fair bit of money, but if you can come to one of these things, try a fin, whether it's a flow fin, whether it's another fin, just get yourself in the mood, find out what fins you like, and then you can go from there. But I'm looking forward to trying these.
Fantastic.